So this is probably the last time that you will see my original logging village here where we're at. As I'd mentioned in the past, a couple of videos, I am overhauling and redoing my Lumberjack village altogether. I've even changing its location. I'm moving it up the road just a little bit. Hey folks, Nas here. Another episode of Medieval Dynasty for you in our Season 5. Now I'm standing in our Lumberjack village, and this is probably going to be the last time that you see this village as it is right now, because it is going to completely change and move locations. Ever since I built this village, I've never really been happy with how I laid it out. And I wasn't particularly happy with the location. I thought it was going to be a whole lot better to work with over here, but it just isn't working out for me the way I had hoped. And of course, now I've gotten an entire settlement built, and it's just too hard to try and go around and figure how I would want to change it up to make it look better than what it does currently. Now, I mean, it's not a bad village. I just don't like the layout. It hasn't grooved with me very well. So I'm going to kind of do a little walkthrough here to kind of show you what I had done. So originally when I had built this village, I came out, I put a food storage, and I think I put 2 houses here. And then we had a couple of the wood cutting stations, the wood sheds. I eventually moved the wood sheds. Of course, we had the resource storage over here. We had to have that. But I eventually kind of expanded, added, several more houses down this side of the road, kind of creating this little bump out off the road here, and then creating a pathway going around to all of the little front doors. I liked it, but I didn't like it. Probably what I should have done was back these houses off a little bit, still create this little cul-de-sac looking thing here, but maybe back the houses off the road a little bit, and then had these houses planned to be with those rather than just kind of placing them along the road. So I've started adding and expanding and things. I just didn't like the placement of anything, but I needed the extra houses to add more villagers to put in the different workstations. Now I kind of liked this little area here to where I kind of had all little workstations and stuff kind of right here. And then I wanted to add a second workshop, because I had this workshop here. I kind of liked the location of it. It was nice, but I started adding that second one back there. And now, because I have 2, I didn't like how they were separated. I kind of like to keep them together. Kind of like I have the little market stalls together right here. And I've added this house, which is the only house on this side of the road. That bugs me. It should be over here with all the other houses, but it's not. But the spot fit. And then after I put this house here, I'm thinking, man, I kind of want to put a tavern over here as well. So then I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can put the tavern here. And then it was just like, I'm literally just trying to find a place to put things. So I'm really bad about not planning my village. Now, granted, I've seen a lot of people on the Facebook group and everything from Medieval Dynasty. You guys have got awesome skills about laying stuff out. And I know that I've made videos to give people tips on how to lay stuff out. But just like, an electrician may not wire his house the way he wires a house he's getting paid to wire. So I don't necessarily follow my own guidance when doing a village. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to come in and try and follow the natural paths, the natural, I mean, granted, there's not a whole lot you can do with the landscape because you can't change the landscape, but I like to try and work with the landscape as best I can to incorporate it into the village. Unfortunately, the landscape over here did not fit with my idea. So I have decided to, and like I said, I mentioned this past couple of videos, I've decided to completely overhaul my Lumberjack village. And I know I keep calling it about 3 different names: the Lumberjack, woodcutters, whatever, axe throwers. But I've completely decided to overhaul this and move its location. And I did give a little sneak peek of that in the last episode of where its location is, which is just up the road a little bit. I found a nice little area that's got some little flat areas. Now, obviously, building in the flat areas is easier to work with, but it does have some surrounding hills, which kind of cradles it a little bit, but not cradling it like it's sitting in a bowl. Now this one here, it's not sitting in a bowl. I could have possibly expanded, and I even looked at expanding, so maybe moving the village down off of this side of the road instead of the other side. And then moving the houses back like I'd talked about, and then possibly expanding a little bit to where I could incorporate this little river. However, I tried doing like a makeshift bridge and stuff like that, and it just didn't look good at all. I probably spent, I don't know, 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours one night playing around with a bridge, different ideas, different objects and stuff like that to try to create a little bridge walkway looking thing to tie the 2 sides of the river together for this village. But unfortunately, everything I kept coming up with sucked. It just didn't look good. I couldn't place it right. It just, the things weren't quite long enough, and I may be in a bad spot on the river to even try that. But I just couldn't get it to work right. I even tried like the, the fishing hut. I tried placing the fishing hut, just the base, the foundation here. But it looked funky with the walkway, because you got a walkway on one side of the fishing hut that has a little fence. It looked funny. It just didn't like, I didn't like the looks of it at all. Plus, I also, because I have such a large village population, I didn't want to waste a building slot just to place a bridge, because I might really need that building slot as I get a little farther along. So this village is going to be going away. I'm literally going to be taking down every building here, and this is going to kind of go back to the way it was before I ever started building here. I'm literally removing everything here. So this is going to be the last time you see this village in this fashion. It's just not going to be here anymore. And I'm going to take you over. I've actually started building in the new location. I'm going to take you over now to kind of show you that location. So let me head over there now. Alrighty, folks, we are coming up on the new location for our Lumberjack village. I can show you on the map. Hang on, let me get off of Miss Donkey here. But I can show you on the map where we're located. So we are right here, just south of Denica on that road there. So we'll zoom in a little bit and you can see this is where we're at. There's the lake. It's towards the center of the map and everything. But this little area here, there's kind of a hill here and a little bit one here, and then it's raised over here. But it's kind of a little bit of a bowl a little bit, but it's kind of flat down through here where I'm building, and then it's a little bit flat over here and over here. So obviously building in the flatter areas keeps things a little more uniform. That way you don't have all of your buildings, one up on stilts and then one down on a slab and all of that. That looks a little funky. That bothered me quite a bit. So I'm trying to keep everything on one level and, keep things uniform. But I got the palisades I've been working on and stuff, kind of going around the village. I plan on enclosing the entire village in the palisades. So this entrance is, I believe, going to be the only entrance in and out of the village. But right here in the beginning, I've got my 2 market stalls. Now you can see I've got this gentleman here. He's actually assigned to that, but he has no assignments of anything to sell yet. I just haven't done that. You can see that they're just still the white linen cloth over the top. Once I assign them, then obviously they change colors according to what he's selling. But then over here on the left, I've got the tavern to where people can come in. They can go to the tavern and everything. And then I've got tables and chairs set up there. And it's completely enclosed. So in order to get to the tavern, they have to come through this little gate. Because, you know, your villagers and stuff, they don't always use the road. Like especially when they're crossing rivers and stuff. They don't always use the bridges. So I'm trying to... kind of corral them. So when, at least in the evening time when they're coming to the tavern and to sit down, they have to come through this gate. It looks all nice and uniform and stuff like that. Now granted, I've got little torches here lined up, lined up throughout down the road and everything. I ended up putting these like family style tables in. So instead of 4 seating, there's 8 seating at each of these little tables here, and a torch on each end of the table for lighting. You can also see I've planted cherry trees between each table, basically to give it color and flair and everything. Now granted, it's going to be 2 years before those even grow big enough and bloom, but they are there. Get rid of my HUD again, that way it's a little easier for you guys to see. Of course, my throat is going to try and act up. Alrighty, let's see if a drink of coffee helps with my throat. Alright, now we've got the kitchen over here. I don't have anybody assigned in it yet, but I will. Now I've got 4 kitchens. Let me open this up. I have 4 kitchens over here in the farming village. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end up getting rid of some of those kitchens, since I'm only going to really be making the flatbread for right now. And then I'm planning on having a kitchen in each village, which kind of makes more sense to me anyway. That way each village is preparing their own meals in essence, so to say, even though they're all going to be creating the same thing. Once I get all the villages set, I may come back and decide, okay, you know what, we're going to make pies or something like that, and I'll maybe have one village making pies and maybe one flatbread, but we'll see later on. I'm trying to streamline everything. In the beginning episodes, I just wanted to get stuff built. I wanted to get the villages all populated and everything. I wanted to go through and buy as many animals, you know, as I could, all the different animals. Now granted, I haven't bought horses, but I do have plans for that. Because I never really done anything with the animals. But now that I've bought all the animals, I'm streamlining, because there's no sense in me having a bunch of the animals then I'm not even using their products, you know, the eggs and stuff like that. So I'm cutting down on the animals as well. But we'll cover that in a minute. But back to the Lumberjack village, I've got the food storage next to the kitchen, and then I've got the resource storage, which I've been kind of just throwing stuff in there to get it out of my inventory. And then I'm going and doing the last option for the house. So this is the big house. And I figured, okay, since I'm completely overhauling this village, might as well add the biggest buildings for housing as I can. Now granted, yes, it's going to increase the tax, which I'm doing fine on coins. I've got 1,300 coins on me right now, but everything else is in my storage. I want to say that I'm over 400,000 coins or something. So I'm reaching that halfway point to the 1 million coins. But I wanted to add these buildings, that way we could work on mood and stuff later, and eventually I'll probably start upgrading a lot of the other homes throughout the other villages to the largest level home as well. Now granted, there's no insulation on these yet. I'll add all of that after I get the village all set, all the buildings set in the village. Now the fence stops right here. I couldn't add any more houses until I tear down buildings in the original Lumberjack village. But my thinking is, and I'm not 100% sure still, I'm still playing with the placements and everything. I think what I'm going to do is about this point here, I'm going to split off and head down this direction to place some more houses that way, and then I'll probably do a small split off this way and maybe place a house or two here, and then maybe one here. Then I want to go back up here and show you my workspace. So the work area I have placed back here behind everything else. So we go through this gate here, and it's the only gate in and out of this little area. But I've got 2 workshops here. Stuff behind me is blocking my view, but I got 2 workshops there on the right when you walk in. Then we turn around. I've got 3 of the woodsheds. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name real quick. I have 4 woodsheds in the original Lumberjack village, but I think I can actually consolidate and still meet all of my wood demands with 3 of the woodsheds. And then I posted this on the Facebook group, but this was, I made a kind of like a wood drying kiln. So when you're making furniture and stuff like that, a lot of times you want to use dried wood. You don't really want to use green wood because it'll warp over time as it dries, and it's really not good for making furniture. Now granted, we don't make furniture in the game really. We just craft it, you know, at the workstation, and we're done with it. You don't have to dry wood or anything, but I thought it was just kind of a little cool idea. I've seen people, you know, getting very creative on the Facebook group and stuff, and I wanted to kind of try my hand at a little bit extra creativity. So this is my version of a wood drying kiln. It's just, you know, some walls and the campfires and everything. And then I placed, those are just placed logs. I literally had to, you know, drop it on the ground, grab it, and then put it up on top. And same thing with these planks. So that was that. I've seen people doing churches and schools with incomplete buildings and a cemetery, which I like the idea of the cemetery. That's kind of a cool thing. And I have a spot to where I think I might try doing a little cemetery. And I think I'm going to maybe do it up on this little hill. Right about here, if I can kind of work it out. It's not super flat, so I'm not sure how it's going to really work, but I think it would be kind of cool. Maybe I can come maybe over here a little bit or something. It almost looks like, if you look, it almost looks like there's a pathway. This is a natural path. I haven't done anything up here, but this looks like a natural pathway up here. So maybe I can kind of add to it a little bit or something. See, there's a little roundabout here. I have a feeling that this might... Oh, this might be a spawn area for one of those camps or something. Maybe that's what this is. Oh, that'd be interesting if that still spawns here. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, so with that idea, I might have to pick a different location for my little cemetery to see if something spawns here. Because this looks like a traveled path. And it would almost seem like maybe there was a campfire here and maybe some stools or something around. I don't know. Oh, that's going to be interesting to see now that I'm sitting here looking at it, think about it. That might be a spawn location for one of those random camps or something. Okay, I can pick a different location for a cemetery. That's not a big deal. I mean, heck, I could probably put it across the street here. This is actually a nice little area here. And then I've got an area just above over there. There's a little hill right there. I don't remember if it had a little flat spot on it or not. But anyway, I've seen some really cool things in the Facebook group. You guys are extremely creative, and I love the ideas that you guys are giving everybody else. And I like to see everybody's contribution to that. You know, whether you think it's good or bad, I really like to see those in the Facebook page and everything. But anyway, this is my Lumberjack village, my new one. This is kind of the new setting for it. I think it's a beautiful setting. I like it a whole lot better than the last place. It's coming together really nice. I'm hoping the next episode that I make, I can get all of these buildings finished and laid out and maybe start working on the cemetery or something. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Back here, talking about creativity and everything and things people have posted, I saw people posting like washrooms. So I added washrooms. Yeah, they're simple, they're basic and everything. I mean, you walk in, you do have privacy and stuff. Obviously, if somebody walked down here, you wouldn't have too much privacy. But you come in and you've got the little water bucket and everything, or the wash tub back here and everything. I put a little campfire, a stool so you could sit down and put your shoes on or take them off, a table to place all of your items on. I'll probably come through and maybe make a few different items or even buy a few different items, so clothing items or whatever. Maybe a weapon or a tool and place on the table here. Obviously, I'm going to fill the buckets up. But I did put a stool with a little log stool back here. So maybe actually somebody will come back here and sit. So it looks like that they're getting ready to wash and everything. But I did two of them, you know, side by side. So you kind of have a men's and a women's, or a his and a hers, or whatever you want to call it. But I did add that. So I've added a couple of little things that aren't standard in the game. I love like I mentioned, I love the ideas that people are giving in the Facebook group. And I try to check it a couple of times a day and comment and everything. So you guys feel free to share your stuff over there. Share your ideas in the comments below. Things that maybe you've built or ideas that you've got for maybe some of my villages or something that I could do or incorporate in my village. Leave those in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And if it's something that I can do or work into the village, I may do that and make a video on that or whatnot. But anyway, folks, I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much for watching these videos. If you are liking them, definitely hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you're notified each and every time I upload a video. Also, you can find links to my Discord, my Buy Me a Coffee, Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, all down in the description below. So feel free to head over and join those and check those out. And we will see you folks in the next one. You take care and happy hunting.